All right, let's talk about something that is everywhere. Ultra-processed foods. There's so much noise out there about them, right? Are they all terrible for you? Let's dig in and see what the science really has to say.
So let me just ask you this. What if more than half of the calories you eat every single day were secretly a health risk? It sounds kind of dramatic. But for a lot of us, this isn't some hypothetical question. It's our reality.
Yeah, check this out. For the average person in the UK, a whopping 57% of their daily calories come from these ultra-processed foods, or UPFs. Just think about that for a second. That's more than half of everything they eat.
So it's really no surprise that with us eating so much of this stuff, researchers have started to uncover some pretty alarming links between a high UPF diet and our long-term health.
Okay, brace yourself because these numbers are pretty stark. A huge review in the British Medical Journal found some really shocking connections. We're talking a 50% higher risk of death from heart disease and a nearly 50% increased risk of anxiety. I mean, wow, the stakes here are obviously really, really high.
Okay, so to really get a handle on this, we have to understand what scientists even mean when they say ultra-processed. It's not just a buzzword. They use a system called NOVA classification. And what's interesting about it is that it categorizes food by how processed it is, not just its nutritional content.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. You've got your group 3, processed foods. Think modified whole foods like canned tuna or a fresh loaf of bread. But then you have group 4, the ultra-processed stuff. These are, they're industrial creations. They're made from substances and additives that you just wouldn't find in a home kitchen.
So how do you spot one in the wild? It really all comes down to that ingredient list. If you're looking at the back of a package and you see names you don't recognize, things you can't just go out and buy, like high fructose corn syrup, modified starches, or protein isolates, that is your telltale sign. That's a group 4 UPF right there.
Okay, but, and this is a big but, here's where the whole story gets a lot more nuanced. It turns out that just painting all UPFs with the same big black brush might actually be a mistake. I love this quote from a nutrition researcher. It really challenges that black and white thinking. The truth is, the UPF category is huge. It lumps in things like sugary sodas right alongside fortified breakfast cereals. And let's be real, the health effects are just not the same. And you know what? The NHS actually points out that some UPFs can be a really valuable part of a healthy diet. Yeah, things like sliced wholemeal bread or baked beans or even fortified plant milks. These can give you essential fiber, vitamins, and minerals, and they're super convenient.
So where does that leave us? How do we turn all this info into a smart, practical guide for real life? Well, the key thing to remember is that you don't need a perfect diet. You just need a few simple, realistic steps to start making better choices. And here is a fantastic little trick you can use right there in the grocery aisle. It's called the home kitchen test. Just flip over the package and read the label. Are there a ton of ingredients? Like more than 5? Do you see a bunch of words you can't pronounce or that you'd never buy on their own? If you're nodding yes, then yep, it's almost certainly ultra-processed.
And this right here shows you just how easy this can be. It doesn't have to be a massive overhaul, just swapping out a sugary breakfast cereal for something like porridge or a high-fiber whole grain option. That's a small change, right? But it's a huge win. You're cutting down on the less healthy UPFs and boosting your nutrients at the same time.
So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? It's that we need to focus on our overall dietary pattern, not on trying to achieve some kind of impossible food purity.
You know, the 80-20 rule is such a great way to think about this. The idea is to aim for a healthy diet about 80% of the time, and that leaves you 20% for treats and other things you enjoy. It's all about balance and moderation, not total avoidance. It's an approach you can actually stick with. So just remember, the goal isn't a perfect diet, because let's face it, what even is that? The goal is a better pattern. It's about making progress one small choice at a time. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one small swap you could make today?